the separatist droid leader himself. This is obviously his look from the 2003 cartoon. He's a straight repaint of the deluxe figure of his Clone Wars 2008 / Revenge of the Sith look. That was a deluxe price point figure that came out in 2019, I think it was. But this is a straight repaint. He doesn't come with his gun, and he has a different, thinner cape. It's a much thinner cape. It's not doubled up like the deluxe figure. Alright, so accessories. He has the 4 lightsabers, 2 green, 2 blue, and I believe these are the same as the ones that came with the deluxe figure from a couple of years ago. I'm not too sure because I don't have that figure yet. Keyword is yet, because I am a figure whore. But these two are differently sculpted, and they are removable, but for the blue ones, it's really tough, and I'm not going to force it because people are always breaking these little tabs here, and I don't want to be one of those people, so I'm going to leave those as is. And there's not even a place to store them in the cape like there was on the original figure. And then here's the green ones, which again are sculpted differently from each other, and the blue ones, I believe. Yeah, they're all differently sculpted. And the green ones are easily removable. Just like that. So I'm not afraid of breaking those. But still be careful with them, obviously. But the blue ones are really hard to pull out for some reason. It's probably because of the differently sculpted hilts, I'm assuming. But yeah, these are just the accessories he comes with, is the 4 sabers. General Grievous. What I try to do here with the cape is give him that look that he has on the back of the packaging and what he does in the animated series sometimes. You could kind of pull it off, but it's not really wide enough, so sometimes it kind of like inches out and you could see part of the arms or legs sticking out. But it is doable, obviously, like I just showed off. But it's pretty thin, but I mean, nothing's really snagged or ripped on me too easily. But this is usually how they have it, like that, and it looks all right. It's connected right here. And the head sculpt is pretty nice. This is basically just a repaint of the deluxe figure, like I said before, so nothing new sculpt-wise. So all the same little dents and rivets and sculpted details of General Grievous are all still here. So, the head sculpt is very nice. A couple issues that I have with this guy that the deluxe release from watching some other reviewers also had troubles with, and this version of the mold also has these same problems, is he's sort of loose in some areas, like right here is very floppy, as you can see, flippy floppy. The knees are a bit loose, the hips are a bit loose, and the swivel joints on the arms are a tad loose, like this one right here is loose, like that. Not too big of a deal, but it does get troublesome when trying to get him into certain dynamic poses that require balance. This is the worst. This is the worst right here, this loose part. All the other ones are manageable, but this is really, really detrimental when I'm posing this guy around in a lot of different poses. He just wants to slouch over, fall down, fall forward due to this loose ankle piece or whatever you want to call it. And the plastic, it seems a little cheap in certain areas. Like I have a stress mark, and I haven't even really manhandled this guy. I've posed him around a little bit in the past couple days that I've had him. I haven't really done any. I'm not the type to like really go in there with my figures and like go, ugh, you know what I'm saying? But he's got stress marks right there, as you can see. And does he have them on any of the other arms? No. Not on that one. Or that one. But, and on the foot here, I think it's this foot. There's a little stress mark on this right here. You can't really see it. You can kind of see it. The stress mark on this part of the heel, I guess. So a couple stress marks. The plastic is a bit on the cheap side and loose bits. And I also want to talk about the articulation. I know due to the design of this guy, just the way he was designed at Lucasfilm, he's not the most perfect thing to make out of an action figure. But, I mean, the hips, they don't really go outwards, but I'll delve deeper into the articulation when I cover the articulation. I'm just listing off the complaints, and then I'll get into the pros of this guy. My final complaint I have with this is that this isn't awful because they worked with what they had. But when you connect these arms together, you can't really bend the elbows. I mean, you could, but it's a real pain to do so. When you connect these, they just tab in right there and there and there. Like that. Same thing as the deluxe release. It's the same on both arms. And you kind of can on this arm. It's doable, but you can't really rotate it. On this arm, it likes to pop out because I think this is warped. I'm going to have to heat that up. I forgot to try that. But those are my only gripes. Now for pros, the sculpt is nice. The detailing is nice. The paint apps came out pretty clean. I love the head sculpt. The articulation works when it can. So the articulation isn't totally bad. It's just that loose joints and lack of posability, I guess, in some areas. The head is on a ball joint in here and on a ball joint type thing in the base of the neck as well. So you can get him to look up pretty nicely. And he could rotate all around. So his head has a beautiful range, rotation all around for days. It's beautiful. The head is probably my favorite part about this guy in terms of articulation. The arms are pretty decent as well. They could all move outwards individually and move out like that. And then it's on a separate ball joint inside the shoulder, so you can move it independently like that. And then you got a swivel up here, and then a swivel down right here. And then you have the elbow joint, which bends like slightly past 90, and it's the same thing on this arm as well. No wrist swivel, obviously, due to the design. That's all right. Diaphragm joint is pretty decent. You could get some tiltage there. It's pretty good. You could go back a tad, and it could go forward quite a bit. That's more than most Black Series figures. It's a standard for Legends, but for a Black Series, that's pretty phenomenal. So diaphragm joint is pretty decent. Now for the legs, the hip joints are pretty terrible. I mean, they move out about that much. It sucks for certain poses when it can only move out that much. That's the worst part about this articulation. You could kick forward pretty much all the way around if you wanted to, and back. Double knees that have an amazing range like that. And then this part moves forward like that. And then there's a hinge and a ball joint, so it can move down and up at the foot. And then you can get like a tad bit of ankle pivot because it is on a ball joint, but not a lot at all, just a teeny tiny bit. Here he is holding all four lightsabers, and he could hold them pretty well, but I noticed the more times that I took them out of his hands and put them back in, they get a little bit loose, like that. On this one, it's floppy. On this one, it's a bit floppy. This one, not so much. And that one, not so much. So it's these two hands. I don't know if that's just on my copy or what, but it is something I noticed. Now for size comparisons, here he is to Fordo and Mace Windu. Mace Windu review coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed and put the notification bell on. And here he is to his arch enemy, Obi-Wan Kenobi. They're all in there. accurate looks. This is the Walgreens exclusive from, I think it was 2019, so it's good to have these two guys together. All in all, I think I would give Grievous a 7 to a 7.5 out of 10. He's decent, but he does have a lot of problems with him, and it's not even entirely Hasbro's fault, a lot of these issues. It's just the way the figure is designed because of his Lucasfilm design that they gave him. So a 7 to a 7.5 out of 10 I think is fair, but I would pick this guy up because he's not terrible. He is good. He is a good 6-inch Grievous, and if you're a Star Wars fan, if you're a fan of the 2003 Clone Wars series, I highly recommend this figure. Definitely get him. But just know he does have a few problems. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say in this video.